Hello, welcome to this week's vlog. So this week I'm going to talk a bit about teething, but before I do that, there's something else I want to talk about. I love looking at other mummy vloggers, something that drives Richy insane. And one of the things they always talk about is what's in my baby nappy bag. And I was quite intrigued to see how organised their baby nappy bags were, because mine is not very organised. So I thought, just out of interest, I would go through my bag now to see what kind of random shit is in my bag. So here is my baby change bag, very organised as you can see. And the first thing I've got there is Odhran's jacket, then my scarf for when I'm breastfeeding him. And straight away we've got the first random item in my bag, which is a pair of Richy's briefs. Clean briefs, I should probably add. There is a good explanation as to why I've got Richy's briefs in my bag, because we went to baby swim and Richy was getting in with the baby this week, and he was getting in with his shorts and his pants on underneath, and he said, throw a clean pair in your bag for me. Then after the swim, I took Odhran into one changing room, Richy went into the other one. I forgot to give him his briefs, so he ended up going commando for the day, but that is why I have pants in my bag. I've got some cotton buds. I've got a phone charger. I've got some random mismatched items of clothing for Odhran. I've got his little mitts, his bib, some more cotton buds. Whoa, in his nappy bag I've got one nappy. I've got some, what are they called? Yeah, you know, wipes. I've got my red book, changing mat. Oh, second nappy. There are two nappies in my nappy changing bag. There is one random sock in my nappy changing bag. There is lots of scrappy bits of tissue. There's my purse. What's this? Oh, some typed notes on something or other. There is one nappy bag. There is, oh wait, there's half a packet of peanuts. There is, a whole box of nappy bags. I think I may have stolen them from like a pub or a restaurant or something, because they don't look like something you bought. It's just like a little box with loads of random nappy bags. Another bib, some hand gel, something that actually should be in a nappy changing bag. Another bib, another pair of socks, well his feet won't be going cold. And what have we got here? A statement necklace, because everyone keeps one of those in the nappy change bag. Some chewing gum, a spoon for his medication, one breast pad, clearly I'm only planning on having one leaky boob. Some tissues. What else is in here? One contact lens for my left eye, because obviously I'm not planning on needing two contact lenses. So it kind of amazes me when I look at these, that, oh, some nappy cream. It amazes me when I look at these other blogs, because other people are so organised and they kind of take out their bag and they go through it, and before they even open the pockets they're like, so here's where I keep some snacks, and then they open the pocket and the snacks are in that pocket. Now here where I keep my baby changing wipes, and they open that up and that's where their baby changing wipes are. And am I the only person who's just, you know, well, everything's just, oh, a hair bubble. There's a hair bubble in my bag. Everything is just, it's just dumped in my bag. There's another pocket here that's got nothing in it. And this is where I keep the bottle. And that's it. That is quite shameful, isn't it? I really need to be more organised with my nappy changing bag. Okay, anyway, moving on from that. To talk about teething. So Odhran is, what age is Odhran now? How many? 15 weeks? 15 weeks. My baby's 15 weeks old. And he has been teething for weeks. I thought babies didn't start teething till they were about 6 or 7 months. But they don't, obviously. The first night he started howling in pain because he wasn't really drooling much at first. I just had him in the house on my own and he started just screaming, and I had to rock him on my shoulder all night to get him to settle down. Then he started drooling and chawing on his hands and all the sort of typical signs of teething. He'd been for his vaccination, for his jabs, for his vaccinations, and he hadn't cried at all. So it was quite worrying when he was in that much pain from teething. So we gave him some of the Calpol that we've been, well, it wasn't Calpol, but something similar to Calpol that we've been given after his vaccinations. And we started giving him that to kind of ease the teething. And we were giving him that for about a week when we then went to see, we'd given him that night. The next day I went to see the midwife and I showed her the medication and said, you know, he's teething, I've been giving him this, is this okay? She was there with a trainee, actually was a health nurse. She was there with a trainee and they both looked at it and said, yeah, that's perfectly fine, give him that. A week later, I had an appointment for his weighing with the other health nurse, and she said that, you know, we shouldn't have been giving him this Calpol like solution because there's paracetamol in it and he was too young, and that was the wrong advice to have been given. And she then recommended this stuff, which has been fantastic, which is called Ashton and Parsons. And basically it's kind of like sharing out cocaine or something. You've got to, comes out a sachet like that, it's all white powder inside, but you've got to empty out the white powder and then split it in two and give them half the powder in the morning and half the powder at night. And this stuff has been an absolute blessing. It's brilliant. It's got just like a flower extract in it. What does it contain? Yeah, some sort of flour. Also contains lactose. So it's sort of like herbal remedy. That's really, really good. But before we discovered this, we went to Mother Care and bought one of these teething rings. This one has the liquid in it, so you can pop it in the fridge to cool it down. It said that it was supposed to be for babies Odhran's age. It's completely useless. It just hasn't helped at all, did it? Oh, it didn't help at all because it's just too big and chunky, and he's only at that age now where he can grip things, but he can't. He's still developing his hand to mouth coordination, so he would kind of prod himself in the eye with it, and it was also too bulky for him to hold or to like get his little mouth around. So it might be useful when he's a bit older, but not for his age group now. Then we bought this little thing, which is Sophie the giraffe. This cost about 17 quid, but it was highly recommended, and we've kind of heard word of mouth from friends and stuff said it was brilliant. We thought this might be a bit easier for him to manage because there's kind of smaller bits for him to grab hold of and bite on. But again, he's just sort of poking himself in the eye with Sophie's ears. So again, it might be a bit useful when he's a bit older, but not really useful now. So it kind of is the question of when your baby, you know, starts teething at about 3 months, what can you do? Because you can't really give them other medications that you can when they're a bit older, because they're just a bit too young. So one of the things that was recommended to me was, besides Ashton and Parsons, which is fantastic, was to get a cloth like this and pop it in the freezer, so it gets nice and cold and the baby can just kind of hold it themselves and chew on it themselves, because Odhran's chewing on everything, chewing on his blankets, on absolutely everything. But then again, this is kind of the mix of advice that you get, because a midwife told me that it was fine to do this, put it in the freezer and give it to him. But elsewhere I've read that you don't put anything in the freezer for babies because it can damage their gums. My guessing is that they're saying don't put things like this in the freezer because they can obviously go then rock hard and then could hurt the baby's gums, but I imagine it's fine with just a piece of cloth like that. Other bits of advice that I've been given was actually from a lady in Sainsbury's. who advised me that when the baby gets a bit older, it's a good idea. What she done with her child was bought a watermelon, segments of a watermelon, being really, really careful to remove all the pips because you don't want to give your baby anything to chew on that they could obviously choke on. So she then put the watermelon in the fridge until it went nice and cool so that her little boy could then chew on that. Again, Oran's too young for that, but for older babies, you know, giving them bits of food and fruit. Cooled down pureed fruit is another thing that people give their babies that helps with teething. But yeah, if you've got any other teething tips, please drop them in the comments below, as it might be helpful to other mums. But that's sort of all the teething tips I have at the moment. Besides, the only other thing is when they are teething, they want loads and loads of comfort. So you do really need your partner in hand to sort of share. Oran just wants to be held in an upright position, sang to, walked around the room, and that can be really, really knackering when you're just doing it by yourself. So you do need your partner there to kind of swap over shifts of walking baby around the house. And that's it, isn't it? Oh, you okay? Oh, the only other thing is I find useful is to run my hands under the taps until they're really, really cold, and then just give him the knuckle of my finger to chew on, and that's his favourite thing really. And besides that, I'm afraid there's not really much else that you can do. Sorry, I hope some of those things have helped in some way. Yeah, come and join us again next week. Say bye-bye, all. Bye-bye.